Now, last episode was absolutely wild, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to top a build like this. So instead of building more today, I am going to be decorating more today to make this build even better. And this is going to involve a library that I plan on including in here and giving this some more life, all of which is going to involve more factory stuff, because I do want to make a factory for making books and then a factory for actually making bookshelves and all of that fun stuff. And of course, selling those things in the mall, because who wouldn't want to buy bookshelves? I mean, I would have bought a ton of them last season had somebody actually made a farm for them. Anyway, speaking of buying things, I should definitely head on over to the spawn shop and kind of see what all is available to buy. I mean, because I have some diamonds to spend. You know what? To get to the shop, we should try out again Foxy's gondola service. Peak transport. Look at all these. This is so cool. Oh, wow. Okay. Peak transport. Gondolas cruising high, experiencing alpine peaks. Very nice. So ticket office, purchase here, collect here, single rider, day rider, or a season pass. How much is a season pass? It's 64 diamonds. I kind of want a season pass. I mean, I have enough diamonds. So that way I can get over there over and over again. We purchase here. Hello, doggo. And aha, I have myself now a season pass. I'll just put that in here. And now I've got to go back to my mall before I can take a quick ride. I've got to go back. And that's because I've got some diamonds to collect. There's been 772 purchases. Oh boy, that should equate to 700 diamonds plus the ones that I currently had. So I'm going to bring 64 more diamonds. Hopefully I don't need more than that. I should put some diamonds in the bank, however. I mean, whatever we have left over, we're definitely going to put in the bank, so that way we have some back there. So with season pass in hand, it also has some reviews. Never seen a view so good. Honest chap. Oh, we should definitely change this. We should make this chosen. He'll never know. Right? He'll never know. We'll just make sure to say honest chosen. Perfect. All right, so we don't go this way. That's staff only. These are the locker rooms. Ah, we've got to put the single rider. Okay, season pass. Oh, that is so cool. Wait, what? How did that work? Wait, I need to know more about this. Wait, what? I never read this. Okay, yeah. It adds a held item to the placard, emits a brief redstone signal if a matching item was present already. That's genius. Man, I learn something new every day. That is such a cool way to do this. All right, we need to quickly hop in and prepare ourselves for a gondola ride. Oh, this is such a good view. Look at all of this. It goes so much faster going down the hill. I love this. There's been so much development that's been happening on the server, all around spawn. Oh, all kinds of just cool stuff all over the place. I mean, that over there, I think, is another shop. It says zinc and tough. Okay, so if we need more zinc, of course, we'll have that. This must be the first drop-off location. I love how slow it goes through here. Then we have the absolutely insane 45-degree angled build. All of that is on a 45. That is another wild thing that has happened. And we go up the mountain and on our way to the shop. This is so sick. This is actually crazy work. And there we go. So now we can hop off, quickly get off before the ride takes us back to spawn. Oh, this is so neat. Yeah, Foxy's definitely put in some work here. And this leads us down into the shopping area. Ooh. And there's some stuff over here, some honey. I have not really bought anything off of this, but you know what? I could definitely buy some honeycombs. Looks like 16 honey blocks, and then we also have honey. You know what? I'm going on a little bit of a spending spree here. Ah, and there's a little kelp store back here. I think this is Stam's Dead End Depot, which has iron, tough, and also, well, andesite, because that's like some of the easiest things to automate from the start. Aha, this is the burgie store that they were all talking about. So what's on the menu? We can get 32 burgies for 1 diamond, and we can get a ton of nuggies for 3 diamonds, a pack of XP. Interesting. What is this? This way to Bergies. Is that Rofo? That's so cursed. There's the ATM. Currently I have 41 diamonds in there, so I could use that if I wanted to. Oh, this is cool. Okay. And inside of here is a pack of XP. Oh, wow. That does have quite a bit of nuggies in there. And then over here, I definitely want to get some burgers. So I think that will be good for now. And then wherever our burgies are presented to us. Oh, in the barrel down here, I assume. Perfect. And I really do need to get a section out here in the shopping district area. It is very bare as of right now, but there's a lot of space for development. And I want to get a shop up for like the dirt. That way we can maybe sell dirt and they don't have to come to my base and what have you. What is first annual throw off? Is he just dangling? I love this. Throw lash. His eyes are X'd out. He's hanging on for dear life. Wait. Oh no, that is cursed. A lightning rod? A crushing wheel? Oh, what is this? Okay, we've got to take a peek. Welcome to the first annual throw-off event. Oh man, okay. In this event, players will build a creative contraption of their weirdest imagination with the purpose to off Throwlash. How does it work? Well, 20 diamonds per player for an entry fee. You can team up, and it says entry fees goes to prize support for first, second, and third. Okay. Throw's death needs to heavily involve create stuff and whimsy. Okay. And then so is there any other crazy stuff? Okay, Throw will only interact with things exactly as instructed. Yeah, keeping the input simple. He's dead. Okay, to enter, each player will place 20 diamonds in the barrel and grab a piece of paper. All right, put your name/team using an anvil provided. Okay, they bring back the barrel. Throw will announce the culling date soon. Oh no, I have about 2 weeks. So I wonder if we can just build this anywhere, because I really want to do that. Oh, I really want to do that. Okay, so Rofo's done it. We also have Froggy and Blockdown put theirs together. Oh, I'm definitely doing this. Okay, Chosen the killer. Aha. Yes, this is definitely happening, and it's 20 diamonds for entry, and that could be a pretty. That's going to be a pretty big pull if we can pull that off. I think this will be great. Okay, Chosen, I'm now in there. Oh yeah, this is going to be a challenge, but I really look forward to doing this. I think I could come up with some pretty clever ways to slowly end old Throw here. As much as I don't want to do that, I could do it well. You know what? Now it is back onto the bank. I think I remember my pin. Anyways, I need to just deposit some stuff, but we also have the ability to trade here, which I noticed. So we get Ochrum, Viridium, and Crimsite, and Azarine for 1 diamond for a stack. It's not super good, but you know what? Security triggered. You have 2 diamonds. No, security was not triggered. No. I'm dead. Why was why? I have more than 2 diamonds. You know what? I left out of here with an obituary and defeat. I feel very defeated from that. Oh, you know what? After getting back, I just realized that was for the material for diamond conversion. I'm such a dork. It was expecting me to have like 64 Ochrum and exchanging that for diamonds. Oh, I was hoping it was the other way around. We're doing a whole lot of shopping and maybe getting scammed just a little bit. I don't really know. It could be the mushrooms getting to me. Who knows? I think it's now time to start working on this library. Now, to build this thing, I do need some of that Viridium. To be able to get this stuff, I am going to do a little bit of mining, and hopefully we can find a vein or 2 of it. But before I go mining, I am going to need a lot of books and bookshelves, to work. By the way, ignore the packages going through. I just kind of sent a massive amount of mushrooms to the system to be turned into bone meal, because this whole thing has now started to produce those bone blocks as everything else has kind of built up. But yes, books. Books are going to be something that's going to be a pretty slow process. And so I want to get that started now rather than after we go mining. No, before I can start to fully visualize what I have planned here, I needed to get the walkway in so that way I can start planning out the actual factory build. So I've got my stairs that lead up, and temporarily I am utilizing the industrial iron materials, but I'm thinking that this is going to be a pretty good way to get us up to each level. And in between each of these levels are going to be walkways, and then we're going to have the big libraries that are going to be right here, which I can't wait to build. So here's the plan. Utilize the chain network that already exists. Run that into this room down here through the wall. That way we have access to being able to send requests over here that can do some crafting. So the idea, this side, make books. And on the other side, make the bookshelves and, well, bookshelf, right? Yeah, we have the bookshelf and another bookshelf, but the chiseled version. All of which is going to make the library stand out. Now, when connecting through a hole like this, something that I like to do is make this actually look like there's something allowing it to pass through these girders. And to do this, I can just go ahead and right-click with the shaft, and the shaft will go through the center, kind of making it look like there's a channel that it can flow through. I mean, it's the best that we got. Now, I want to make this bookmaking process, well, I want to make it kind of look really complicated, even though it is a very simple thing to do. We just need to get resources in from our pre-existing farms, and then we need to have it crafted. So I was thinking, what would make this look really complicated? Ah, yes, mechanical arms. So this is what this is going to sort of look like. I have my chains that are in line here, so that way we can have a frog port. We need to first pull in sugarcane to be able to make paper for our book. I have to think a little bit about this one, because what I could do is I could create a bypass that allows all of the overflow, which is currently being turned into bone meal, to be turned into paper. And I don't really have a good way of setting up a priority system for this without creating a buffer in between. The other alternative is to just simply pull out all of the materials and making it kind of slow, which is what we're probably going to end up doing. And so in that case, all I need to do is just simply use a factory gauge, make sure we request from this tuned network, and then we can just say, hey, keep like a stack in stock inside of this vault. And I love showing this refresher as it is just simply a packager. And then we'll place in this gauge, which is now linked to that network. We need a frog that also is clicked onto this network, which is now linked here. And we'll call this paper make, or sugar to paper, or for example, cane to paper. I kind of like that. And then down here, we will just simply drag the sugar cane, which is the product that it's going to be making. We pull that in, we set the address, and now this is simply checking if there is stock in stock. And then we can say, hey, how about you pull a stack from there, which should trigger a package to be sent, which goes immediately into the vault, which now has a stack of sugar. I am still absolutely blown away by how awesome this is once you have a full chain network running through your base. Like, I can pull from anywhere. I can request things from the dirt network. Honestly, this is the most I've ever used the chain system this season, and I tell you, it's amazing. Now, let's just assume that there's a funnel that sends one item out at a time, so we'll just have the funnel send out onto the depot. Then we need to use a mechanical arm to take items from this depot, and I then wanted to place it onto this depot, and it's just going to rest right here. It doesn't receive any power from this. We'll have to run the power separately, but this is now going to take items from here and just simply move it onto here, which just looks really cool. So that's going to do that operation. Then we need to worry about the next step, which is pulling items off of here and then sending them over to this depot. And this is where we encounter our first problem. Otherwise, if we don't filter, it is just going to pick up any item willy-nilly right off of this. So instead, what we need to do is we need to place a brass funnel onto here, making sure it sets it into this depot. And then now we can tell this specifically what to pull, because it's only going to pull the item that it has the ability to send out. So in this case, we can just put paper in the filter. So there we go. And now I'll have a mechanical arm that pulls off of here and that outputs automatically into that funnel, making sure that it filters the only item that's going to be produced here, which is going to be us pressing sugarcane. So we'll just simply place the press right here, and then yet again, I'll hook up some power to this. Now, another thing we're going to need is a crafter that ultimately leads into a depot over here. And this is what's going to be doing the crafting. And so I want my crafter, which is going to be a 4x4, by the way, to lead into this depot. And I'm using a crafter specifically just for the visual aesthetic, not for efficiency, because we could actually do this craft in a mixer to make books. But yes, I do want the visual aspect of this, and I do want another mechanical arm that is going to be doing all of the work. By the way, that finished product is going to be placed into the depot via the mechanical crafter, and then I'm going to have another storage vault that's going to hold our books. But now there's still one other component. We need cardboard to be able to make the books. Because I don't have a way of getting a bunch of leather outside of purchasing it and so on, we can use our cardboard that we're already producing at the mall. So I can just simply take it from my main network over there and just send it into this vault, which I can then auto output onto a depot. And having these two depots right next to each other should be within range for a mechanical arm to pick them up and then send them exactly where I tell them to. Now, just like we did before, we need to select our main stock link, which is ultimately connected to all of these. Place that bad boy in here, and then we just need to select cardboard, name the frog, which in my case is cardboard to books, and then place that address inside of the gauge, cardboard to books. And all we have to do now is just set it to keep a certain amount in stock. So that is now pulled it out of the mall, and inside it goes. There's all of our cardboard. Now for the fun part, in my opinion, setting up the actual crafter. So we can use a mechanical arm to technically place things in very specifically into a mechanical crafter, allowing us to craft individual things. And this was the way that we did things before we actually had frogs. So to do this, we will place brass funnels so that way we can filter specifically on them. And then what we need to do is link our mechanical arms to them. So we need to define the recipe, and this is a shapeless recipe, so we can put it in any ways. But let's just say that up in the top, for example, this is where we place the cardboard. So that means all of these slots, well, as soon as I pull this out of that crafter, whoops, let me just grab that real quick. All of these are going to be filtered specifically to paper. And then this one up here is going to be filtered to cardboard. So now I can have a mechanical crafter that grabs from here and then places into these funnels in the back. So now trying to keep everything sort of the way that we have it, let's go ahead and do that. We'll say pull from here, output to all of these locations, and there it goes. It's now in place. To run power, by the way, I'm going to use encased chain drives. I think this is going to be the best way to get power routed all the way around. After getting it to go all the way around, we can change the direction, use a vertical gearbox to be able to get power up here. Then we just need to get power to the crafter, which will work fine with just another gearbox leading in. Now, the reason this encased chain drive is so powerful is because, yeah, for something like this, I can just simply pop in a shaft that is going to raise up, and then we can have a shaft on the other side that just goes right in, and then even a shaft connecting directly into the mechanical press by just simply adding a vertical gearbox. Look at that. Or direct power into the whole thing, which is going to hopefully jumpstart this and actually put it into play. We can just connect into our pre-existing chain drive, which should be routed right here. And as soon as we link this in, this whole thing should start working. Okay, so that mechanical arm grabbed it. So the only thing that is left to do is to send the items out like this. Oh, that is satisfying. And it is slow. The idea is for it to be slow. The book has now went out, and look at that. It crafted the book. The book goes into here, and we now have automatic book making. Oh, this is so good. Now, the other side is going to utilize those books that we just made, but this one is going to be more of just setting up these lavish crafters, which I think blend really well, by the way, into the dark oak. Something about brass and dark oak, I don't know, feels really warm and inviting. Now, for the crafter modules themselves, I am going to keep them separate, mainly for decoration, even though one could definitely get the job done. And technically, we could even use them all for crafting, but as of right now, I want this to be more localized, but I do want to pull in materials materials such as wood, for example, from our mall, and that is going to need to be stored into this quote-unquote sub-main. Yes, I know, much like Applied Energistics, I'm even making sub-networks with Create. But again, to recap, we are going to have an input packager. This packager is going to deal with the requests of the items that are going to be stored in here, which is going to include books from our book creation station. And then we're also going to have the wood that is going to be received from our mall. Then once the crafter crafts it, it's going to go into the barrel, and then it's going to get packaged up, run through our mini little chain line, and sit right back inside of the container. Now back at the mall, 2 of my factory gauges needs to be linked to the main, which is going to pull out slabs and also planks. And these are going to go onto a frog that I have labeled 2 bookshelves. So we're going to set up both of these. One, like I said, is going to be planks. We'll just drag that in there. And then this one is going to be slabs. And I do need to make sure that I am choosing the right slab. It's spruce that we keep in stock. We still have one more thing that we're going to definitely need to get set up. But as of now, just make sure I'm going to keep a stack of these both in stock. Now, this is going to be our first stock link on this network. And much like this, I want this blaze burner to be able to request from this network and be able to see my books, so I can just walk up to this thing and pull from everything. So I do want it linked to the same network that this is on. And so I've got to get my books set up on a frog network setup. Is that how I'm calling it now? I think that's going to work, right? So packager, stock link on it. Perfect. And then we just simply need a frog to be connected to that. And connected. Oh, that feels good. Now, because this is books and we need this also stored inside of this network, we need to keep a stack always over here. So this is going to be books, as that is what we're making. I guess I'm going to drag it from right here. And then this again is going to be just 2 books. And so now when I say keep a stack of books in here, we should see some package make its way from in there all the way around, comes through here and makes its way into this. Oh, the logistics are logisticking. Then to make sure that we keep all of our books and set up everything correctly for our crafters, we need to make sure we pull it from a singular location without needing repackagers on every single one of these, which would be kind of annoying. We have to make sure this is on a separate network. So as much as I want this on the same network, it is going to need to be on a separate one. And then I can make another frog that's over here that allows me to see all of our stored products. This may seem kind of confusing, but believe me, keeping things on a separate singular network for crafting is a good idea. So doing this makes your life so much easier, so you don't need that repackager. It takes up significantly more space and it's just not necessary. So we don't want to link this one to anything special. We just want to place it here, and we want to make sure our frog sends out. Perfect. And this is going to be a send only. And now we have the ability to send package requests, well, to our frogs, which we are going to have to label. So, and also probably get power set up to this. So you know what? Yeah, yet again, let's go ahead and get that done. We'll call this crafter bookshelves, something like that. We can't call it crafter 1 because this is hooked up to our main network. So this one will be crafter shelves 1, and then we can call this one crafter shelves 2. I know how nice on the naming. Now we are going to need a send back frog, and this one is going to also go onto the main network. So our send back frog, we will call this shelves main, I think, or shelf main. This is the thing that we are going to have to label everything as. Place my sign on here, and then shelf main is what I need to call each and every one of these. Then on the back, since I'm not worried about this overfilling or anything like that, with overcrafts, I'm just going to have it send immediately into a package as soon as it crafts the item. And yet again, encased chain drives for power, so good because we can change the rotation direction and then continue carrying it on like this all the way down to the end. And just like the other side, connect up with the chain, and now both of these have power. Now, just when you thought the bookshelf making process was done and over and we can get this started, well, we have to set up factory gauges. So this is where I want to set up something interesting and actually use that display board method that I mentioned. Like, this looks so much like a board. So yes, I want my factory gauges to be laid out on here. So the way that this is going to work is we need to connect our factory gauges up to this network and then just sort of lay them out. So we have to get all of our base products, which is everything that is contained in here. So that is going to be all 3 individual items. And then that is going to ultimately lead into the creation of our 2 different types of bookshelves. So because this is connected, we can place those in and actually see how many are stored inside of this container, and then also our books. Then inside of this, we need to drag what we're going to be making, which in this case is the 2 different types of bookshelves. Then I just need to go and add a connection for the things that are used to make that. For example, this is going to be requiring the wood and also the books. And when done, we can click the use mechanical crafter, and then this is just about ready to go. We just got to enter in the name. And so our name that we used is this one right here. And we'll make sure this is the one crafting the books. And then in this one, I think it's just the wood and the slabs. Use mechanical crafter. And yes, this one is going to be going to 2. And so now we are just about ready to go. All we have to do is tell it how many to craft, and we can say keep a stack in stock for both of them. That should send them out. Should hopefully do the craft. Oh, yes, I forgot one important thing. On the back of all of these, we need to make sure that this is all unlinked, so that way it can do those crafts. And so now it is doing the craft. And by the way, I unlinked this in a very specific order to make sure that it didn't cause them to go through. Yeah, this is one of the most important steps, and I can't believe I forgot that. But there we go. So now they are completely unlinked, doing the thing they're supposed to be doing, and we have crafting madness now happening over here. And by the way, we can get kind of fancy with this. We can move the gauges if we want to make them look a little bit different. Let's say we want them more spread out or what have you, just to kind of give it a little bit of a visual touch. Man, this turned out way better than I thought it was. Just kind of spreading things out and also placing it inside of a building and being limited in the amount of space that I have. Like that I did kind of like. The only thing left to do was to get another frog set up that is linked, by the way, to the same network as all of this. And so with that, I can now actually request all of these individual items that are stored in here. So with both of these running, I now have the production of the books that I'm going to be needing in order to actually build the library extensions that I want to build. And so now all that I need to do is go mining for that Viridium that I needed. Now mining's the easy part. Finding Viridium, well, that's going to be the hard part, and I want a lot of it. So I think the best solution might actually be to fly around until we can find some caves that potentially look like these, right? And we can go down in those caves and kind of search around and hopefully poke around until we might find some Viridium that might be hiding inside of some of these caves. We'll just take some peeks and some... Ooh, this is actually a nice cave. All right, a lush cave over here. Just keep peeking around and hopefully we'll find something, and trying to avoid all of these creepers. Ooh, there's Akram over here. So I definitely want to save this location because, yes, I want some of these gold blocks. Oh, okay. This is the jackpot. Yes. Just gotta lay down the track, place in the giga drill, and well, get to giga drilling. I think that's all we need to do. Oop, and the water, by the way. Yes. This is just going to plow right through the water. It doesn't really care about the water at all. Just need to probably get rid of all of these blocks. Yep, probably a good idea. Boy, yes, after getting all of this cleared out, that should be plenty of Viridium, and there's still some left in the ceiling. But this should definitely be more than enough to complete my project. Now, back at the base, something that I kind of want to do is make sure I avoid a few things here, and then, yeah, I should be able to place my drill in. and just not bump it. Yeah, I just make sure that's closed so I don't accidentally bump it. It would be nice to have like an interface that connected up and just automatically dumped all of the product. But for now, I think what I'm going to do, tap in my backpack and then just start pulling items out and dumping it into the backpack for now. I mean, not too bad out of a little trip here. So after getting it all in, we have 3.9 thousand of the Viridium. Such a good block, by the way, for building. And speaking of building, I think it's now time to start working on getting the actual library components in. So I can go down here and actually request out a whole bunch of these bookshelves. So I'm thinking like we can pull out, I don't know, 4 stacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 stacks of these. Oh man, just being able to pull out that many last season, it was just such a pain to craft bookshelves without having it set up for automation. So having it automated this season, oh, it's going to be so good. So for the bookshelves, I think I want to use less of the regular bookshelves and more of the chiseled bookshelves. And in doing this, it will allow me to decorate this more effectively with regular books, which is going to be kind of interesting. So the goal here, we're going to have it separated in sections of 2 and potentially moving this. So I'm going to have this empty space that I want to fill in with some wall blocks. But if I use the shuffle mod, I can shuffle the placement of the bookshelves here, giving me a nice variety. And I do want to leave an empty section before we get to each level. So this is going to be just a starting level, which we're going to probably put some ladders down to kind of give it access. But yeah, I think for the starting level, this is going to be great. And this is going to really start to get nice and grand as we go all the way up. On the next level, I want this to be varied quite a bit. So yes, it's going to start like right here and is going to work its way up. Already the grand design is starting to show itself. So I have all of these bookshelves that lead all the way to this very top area, but expanding out the sides, this is where I don't want to keep it the normal scaffold. Instead, I think I want to use some brass scaffolds, and this gives off a very, very cool look. And so this is just going to be the start of the outer edge, but we're going to have to come up with some ornate things to be able to decorate the outside. Now, I did something pretty interesting here. So I'm actually only going 1 wide on the scaffolding, and this may seem kind of cramped, but the idea is to be able to see this. And when you walk in, see the bookshelves. And if I go any wider, you can't really see the bookshelves, which is going to break the entire immersion of the area. So now I get to go in with these copycat slices, and if I place them on the block right here, it's going to allow me to do something very, very special. And that is sort of build like an archway that leads up into the next section. But I do want to use this. So all of that Viridium that we just went after, well, the Viridium is actually what I want to use to trim this. Now, I still want this to look like it is a railing, so I want to extend this all the way down, just like so. Then I want to randomize the different bars that I'm putting in here. I know nobody's ever going to see this detail, but it's still kind of cool to put it in. I think what's going to sell the whole thing is how I can get this to look like it's curving into itself. And I've got to figure this out along the edge. It's going to take a little bit of trial and error, but once I get the first one, repeating it up through all of them shouldn't be that difficult. So you know what? I think this looks pretty darn good. Now I just got to get the pillars in and see how that is all going to look once everything is all said and done. I think for complex things like this, it is going to be best for me to just simply take it, make a schematic of it, and then use that schematic on the next layer. This is going to speed up processes like this tremendously, as yes, this can place in all of the copycats. Look how quick that was. In between each of the sections, I've included the large metal girders and also kind of used some of the girders on the outside. This is to close in the outer part of the box, but what I really want is I want this entire thing to be trimmed, and to specifically be trimmed with some stripped spruce logs. And I tell you, this is some detail work. Oh my goodness. Now I don't have the railing in just yet, but look at this. Oh man, with all of this other stuff laid in, this is now looking more like I had envisioned it looking. Oh, this is definitely turned out really, really nice. And with these copycats allowing me to layer this on the outside and then have these on the inside, really give this a depth that you just can't achieve in vanilla Minecraft. But yes, there's still some railing that needs to be placed in on the sides, but outside of this, I mean, this whole area is looking phenomenal. And now I think is a good time to take this and copy it to the other side with a schematic. There is one problem with doing this though. That is, in my experience with taking these schematics and trying to schematic these catwalk stairs, they completely break. They will be all kinds of different directions because the schematic just doesn't care what directions these are facing. But I'm hoping that in this schematic, once this all gets flipped over and transitioned over, that this is going to be an exact copy and should be able to fit in here perfectly. Let's go ahead, get the books loaded in, and I'm excited about this. I mean, I get to kind of get a list of to-dos, and then we can kind of go through that. So how is this going to be laid out? Well, if I go ahead and place this in right now, there's some things that we need to do immediately. And that is, one, we need to rotate this and rotate it. I mean, we can rotate it like this, which is gonna be fine. And then we need to mirror. Because of the way this is set up, everything has to be mirrored. It is so cool looking, but look at the stairs. You can already tell the stairs are not doing exactly what I really want them to do, which is kind of unfortunate. But yes, we're going to raise this up because this is scaled quite high in the sky, and then move this way. And I think we're almost there. I think this is it. Place in our bag, and let's go ahead and get a material checklist of what we're going to need. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of copycat materials and a lot of bookshelves. After a material gathering trip, I think this is just about ready to go in. And this is going to be something that is really, really fast, I think. So, without further ado, let's get this placed in. Oh boy. And there it is, completed. Well, minus the stair thing, like I was mentioning before. I've just got to go through each and every one of these stairs and by hand break them down and replace them. Now that is much, much better. So throwing in some finishing touches, added a railing, added these support beams that make it look like it's holding it up, and also included some red seats that are on each level and also randomly throughout the actual library section, which gives it not only a blot of color, but kind of a whimsy feeling where, I mean, if you're just sitting here, you're reading, you're overlooking the entire library area, or you can set up here and you can actually look out the window at all of the smog, you know, all of that fun stuff. And then also up here, you have some more lookouts, which I think is very nice and adds some nice touches. The only thing I have to do is add in some more books into the actual bookshelves, which I've already technically done on this side, which gives it a whole lot more detail. And I would really like to have, like others, potentially add some random books throughout the series and or written books. I think you can put those in there as well. It'd be kind of fun, like at the end of the series when the world download becomes available, like for all of you guys to potentially pop in and kind of see what those hidden messages are. But you know what? This right here, I think, is a fantastic stopping point. There has been a lot of work that was done today. There's still more that I want to do to this area, and I would also love some suggestions from you guys also. I mean, we have some like stream weekends that we're going to be working on, which will be really fun to kind of take everything that you guys have suggested thus far and try to implement it into these builds. I think that'd be a really fun task for me to do, especially during that stream weekend. So be sure to comment down below. Don't forget to do that. And let me know how I could make this area better. I think today turned out quite well. We have some of the harder things to actually craft in the game now craftable, and they are a fantastic decoration, not just for a library, but I have put them into scenarios where they are kind of creepy, honestly, just having random bookshelves around. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with them, and I'm looking forward to setting that up in the future. And hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, and of course, if you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Jetmain. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over in the Discord by becoming a Discord Premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.